Hey there, it's Dustin from DGP. I'm going to show you a little bit of what I've been working on the surface that you sent us for the last few months. So, first thing you'll notice is that the surface isn't on the ground and flat. We've elevated it on this table that we made and tilted it so that it's more like a desktop. And the reason we did that is because we want to explore the mix of interaction spaces between touch, above the surface, mouse, and keyboard, and how all these things can work together, leveraging the strengths of each, as well as the transitions between them. You'll also notice that there's a red glow in the video, and that's because we're using 6 Vicon motion capture cameras. Now, we're using red instead of infrared because if we use infrared, it interferes with the surface's vision system. So let me just toss on these gloves. So you'll notice that the metaphor we're using here is a mirror metaphor. So the touch interaction space, or the surface space, is a thin plane, and when I reach towards it with my hand, the representation of my hand reaches towards it from the other side as well. And so if I get closer, my hand gets bigger, and if I pull farther away, my hand gets farther away and more transparent. And so I've been thinking of it sort of like a self-clearboard kind of thing, and we can decorate our hands with certain properties. You want to kind of exploit that your hand's constantly moving back, you're typing and then moving to the touch surface, or typing and then moving to the mouse. So one of the first things I did is that I have this notion of gestures where I can grab items like so, and then throw them back down. I can grab them, and you can see they're being held in my hand, and I'm moving them around, and I can toss them back. And that's great, but and so I have this multiple clipboard thing, where I can hold things in different hands and throw them back at different times. And that's good if I'm like moving from one table to another, or from one part of the surface to another. But it's kind of like the Minority Report system. I mean, it's really energetic. It's really expensive, but it's really energetic, and no one's going to do it for a long period of time. So, if you're spending most of your time at the keyboard, you want to not stray far from it, because the keyboard's a pretty good way of getting a lot of info in. So what we set up is, if I hold down the right mouse button, a representation of my left hand, the other hand is displaced to where you right mouse it, and you can see it's still down there, but I've got a displaced version. So I can do stuff like toss things around, or casually, sort of a coarse interaction style. And something I actually set up here is if I toss something one way, I can snap it back if I don't release the mouse button before letting go. So toss, maybe I didn't want to do that, snap back, which lets you sort of explore alternatives really quickly. And again, I have the ability to grab things into my hand by holding the mouse button down and then grabbing, and then I can toss things back. Almost. Grab, toss back, grab, toss back. We'll screen up the location a little bit. There we go. The other thing, meanwhile while I'm doing this grabbing things and letting them go thing, what I actually set up is you can leave things in the space above the surface instead of either holding them in your hand for a long period of time or putting them back down. So I can grab all these things right here, and I can just release them right there. Oh, whoops. There, now they're released. So you see very faintly that they're about this space right here where I'm pinching my fingers in the 3D world. And what's nice about that is, if I want to take things off my document space really quickly, oh, whoops, I grabbed them accidentally. If I want to take things off my space really quickly, I can just throw them out there, but they're kind of just in another space. They're lighter, but they can still remind me that they exist. So if I want to clean things up really quickly, I can just throw a bunch of things above the surface, and I can just work with these things, or these folders, or whatever. But if I want to grab them back, I just put my hand wherever they were, and grab them again. And the way that I let know that my hand can grab them is their highlighting changes. There we go. Release them. And I can grab them and throw them back onto the surface, like so. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.